Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about how do we treat special needs children.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about how we treat special needs children. So first of all, I don't have a special needs child. I just don't. I'm not going to pretend to. I don't know what it's like to have that, for lack of a better term, challenge, right? There's just different set of circumstances with these special needs children that I just cannot relate to. So before anybody gets on their high horse and says, hey, you don't know, you don't have one, I just want to preface with that. When I say that, and I'm not insensitive to this, but what brought this up for me today is I happen to be over at my son's school. I see a young man come walking into the school with no shoes on. He just has a pair of socks on. And one of the teachers goes on to explain to one of the counselors that this child is on a special needs bus, and they didn't have, I guess, a monitor. It's somebody who kind of watches over the kids so the bus driver can do what the bus driver needs to do and drive. And this particular kid decided to throw his shoes outside of the window. And now he doesn't have a pair of shoes. So the counselor says, oh, we'll get a hold of mom and dad and we'll get a pair of shoes for the kid. And I don't know if there was a discussion or not with this child prior to that interaction around why would you do something like that. I'm pretty good friends with the counselor at school, and I said, I know it's not my place, but every ounce of me had a desire when I witnessed that to get down, look this young man in the eye and ask him this simple question: why would you throw your shoes outside of the window? And then she says, well, there wasn't a monitor on the bus. And I said, what does that have to do with whether or not he knows right from wrong and whether or not he should have thrown his shoes out the window? Whether somebody's watching him or not, he knows it's not right to throw his shoes out of the bus. And she says, well, it is a special needs bus. And I said, well, I get that. But see, this is my perspective. So I don't know jack about parenting. I almost used the original title, like, I don't know shit about parenting. But it just makes sense to me that if a child is going to do something like that, he's craving some type of attention. And if the attention he gets is negative, or mom and dad have to show up to the school and make it really inconvenient, but if you sit down and just have a conversation with this young man, this is my belief. I'm not saying I'm right. This is my belief. And in my experience with my own kids, this has worked for me. So, like, hey, what happened? Why would you throw your shoes out the window? And was that a good decision or a bad decision? And would you make a better decision if it's a bad decision? Or if you think it's a good decision, why do you think it's a good decision? And literally have a conversation with this young man. He's 5, 6 years old. He wasn't that old. He got a whole lot of attention. He came off the bus. The bus driver recognized him. The person meeting people off the bus recognized him. The counselor had to talk to him. Almost got attention from me. He's now going to have to go to the office where people are going to say, what happened to you? His mom and or father are going to show up to the school and give him more attention. This kid just made himself a rock star. Now, if he's craving attention, I imagine there's going to be a pair of shoes tomorrow flying off the bus. But nobody ever had the conversation with him to say, why would you do that? And nobody ever said, hey, you know, there's certain things that are expected, but if you behave well, right, and you do what you're supposed to at school today, And if you are very well behaved and you show home with all of your clothing and all of your shoes today, and I got a good report from the school, mommy and daddy are going to do something special with you. That's the attention he wants. But because he probably isn't getting it, and then we label him like, oh, he's special needs. We can't have conversations with special needs kids. And then we actually follow through on that reward. I guarantee you, I don't care if special needs or not. And this is just human behavior and human psychology. If that child gets that attention, he doesn't need to get the attention that he's going to get when he throws his shoes out the window. That's just to me, and I hear the special needs people right now. You just don't understand. What I don't understand is why we don't have conversations with our children. I don't know jack about parenting, but I know when people communicate and talk to me, I feel better. I know when I communicate to other people, even the more difficult conversations, I feel better long term. So I don't understand why people, when this kid throws his damn shoes off the bus, it turns into 20 people being inconvenienced. Because now mom or dad, let's just say they both work, somebody's being inconvenienced at their job. Maybe they have an important job with a lot of customers. All those customers are not being served because this kid threw his damn shoes off the bus. And honestly, I think that conversation and following through on the reward has a whole lot less energy than everything else that just went on, simply because, one, the excuse that he's a special needs child. And I almost want to say, I could almost guarantee that mom and dad are exhausted. Mom and or dad are exhausted. They don't know how to cope. They don't know how to communicate. And they're just at wit's end. And these challenges can be fixed with a little bit of communication. That's how you treat special needs kids, with the same love and respect that you treat every other child that is well-mannered and well-behaved. But they get a pass because they have some other challenges. The only challenge these kids have, because I've seen plenty of special needs kids that are absolutely amazingly behaved, is they're not being loved on enough. And some people may say, I love my kid. But the question is, are you showing it in a way that they respond in a positive way, not in a negative way to get attention? We'll see you in the next episode.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.